In this video, we are going to learn about list data structure in Python. A list is an ordered collection of values enclosed in a pair of square brackets. Let us see how to create a list. A list can be created by placing the values inside the square bracket separated by comma. For example, my list is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a list of integers. Colors is equal to red, green, blue, yellow is an example for list of strings. Here, my list and colors are identifiers. You can use any valid identifier as the list name. The values in a list are called items or elements. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are values of my list. Red, green, blue and yellow are values of list colors. The values in a list are called items or elements. Elements of a list can be of different data types. For example, here we have got a list with mixed data types. 1 and 2 are integers. Red, it is a string. 13.5, it is float. So this is an example for mixed data types list. A list may also contain duplicate values. For example, here 2 is repeated twice. A list with 0 element is known as an empty list. An empty list can be created with empty brackets. For example, L is created as an empty list. A list within another list is known as a nested list. In this example, the third element is another list. This is a nested list. We can access the individual element of a list using index. An index number specifies the position of an element in the list. Python supports zero-based indexing. That means the first element of the list has index value 0, next element 1, next 2 likewise. For example, here the list color has got 5 values. The first element red has index value 0, next green has 1, next element blue, the index value is 2, next it is 3 and the last element has index value 4. If n is the number of elements in the list, then n minus 1 will be the last index value as we start with index 0. Here the list has got 5 elements, hence the last index value is 4. How to access the elements in the list? Elements in a list can be accessed by specifying the list name followed by the index value in square brackets. The square bracket is known as the subscript operator. For example, here color of 0 will give the value red, as the value at position 0 is red. Color of 2 means the value at position with index value 2. It is blue. Python will raise an index error if you use an index that exceeds the number of items in your list. 5 is not an index of list color. Hence, if you try to access color of 5, it will generate an error. Now, let us see how to access the elements of a nested list. So, the list 30, 40, 50 is a nested list. Inside the list color. Color of 2 will give the third element of the list. So, that means we will get the list 30, 40, 50. To access the individual element of this list, we need one more subscript. Inside this list, 30 is the first value. So its index is 0. Hence, when we write color of 2, 0, it will give 30. So 2 will give the third element in the list color, and this 0, it is the index position within that list. The first index value will take us to the desired nested list, and the second index value will take us to the desired element. Color of 2, 1 will give value 40. Color of 22 will give the value 50. This is how we access the nested list. Python also supports negative indexing. Negative indices count backward from the end of the list. The last element has index -1, the second last element -2, then -3, like that. Color of -1 will point to the last element. Hence, it returns the value black. -4, it is the index of value green. Hence, color of -4 will return the value green. Lists are mutable data types. That means the content of a list can be changed after it has been created. Let us consider this list. The value at position 1, it is green. So when we print color of 1, we will get the value green. Now I'm going to change the value at 1 to brown. Color of 1 equal to brown means assign the value brown at position 1. When we execute the statement, the value green will be replaced with value brown. Now, when we print color of 1, we will get the value brown here. So that means we can change the values of the list data type. Hence, list is a mutable data type. Now, let us see some of the operations that we can apply on list. The plus operator is used to concatenate two lists. For example, assume that list 1 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 and list 2 equal to A, B, C. List 1 with plus list 2 will return a list by concatenating the values in list 1 and list 2. So we will get a new list with values 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C. List 1 and list 2 will remain unchanged after concatenation. If you want the merged list, we can assign it to another list. The star operator is the repetition operator and is used to replicate the elements in the list. For example, assume that list 1 has got one element, that is hello. List 1 star 3 means repeat the elements in list 1 3 times. So when we print list 1 star 3, we will get a new list with hello 3 times. Let us see another example. Here list 1 is 1, 2, 3, 4. And when we print list 1 star 3, we will get the elements in the list repeated thrice. 1, 2, 3, 4, again 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. In and not in are the membership operators in Python. In operator checks whether an item is present in a list. Returns true if it is present, otherwise returns false. For example, green in colors. So here green, it is a member of the variable colors. So when we print green in colors, the answer will be true. Black in colors. Black is not a member of the list colors. So when we print black in colors, the answer will be false. Not in operator checks whether an item is not present in a list. Returns true if it is not present, otherwise returns false. Green not in colors. So green, it is a value of list colors. So print green not in colors will give us the answer false. Black not in colors will give the answer true because black, it is not a member of the list colors. Next we will see list slicing. A segment of a list is known as a slice. The slice operator, within the square bracket we give start, colon, end, colon, step, returns a part of the list from the start position to the end position, including the item at the start position but excluding the item at the end position. For example, assume that my list is equal to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. So our index value start with 0. So it goes up to 7. My list 1 colon 5 colon 1 in the square bracket will return a list consisting of characters from index 1 to 4. So the start position here is 1. So this is the position 1 and the value at 1 is B. Here the step value is given as 1. So we increase the index by 1. So the next value will be C, the value at position 2, then 2 plus 1, 3. So D, 3 plus 1, 4. E, 4 plus 1, 5. Value at end position is not included. So here the end position is 5. So we will take the value only up to 4. So print my list 1 colon 5 colon 1 will give us a new list consisting of values B, C, D and E. So these are the values from position 1 to position 4. So that is end minus 1. So here end it is 5. So 5 minus 1, 4. So we go up to 4. Let us take another example. So here my list 1 colon 5 colon 2. So the start position here is 1, end position it is 5 and the step here it is 2. So we start from index 1. So we extract the value at 1. So B will be extracted. The step position is 2. So we increment the index by 2. 1 plus 2, 3. The value at 3, that is D, will be extracted. Next, 3 plus 2, 5. So 5 is the end position. We do not include the value at F. So when we print my list 1 colon 5 colon 2 will give us a new list with values B and D. The value at position 1 and the value at position 3. If you are not giving the step value, by default it will be 1. So here we have not given the step value. So the default value is 1 here. So we will get the same value as that of 1 colon 5 colon 1. So when we print my list 1 colon 5, the step value is by default taken as 1. So we will get the values from 1 to 4. So that is, we get the new list with values B, C, D and E. So this is the same list that we got when we executed 1 colon 5 colon 1. So if you omit the end value, the value returned will go up to the end. So here my list 1 colon. So we are not specified the end value and we are not specified the step value. So the step value by default it is 1. Since we have not included the end value, this will return the values from 1 to the end of the list. So that means we will get the values B, C, D, E, F, G and H. If the start value is not given, the default start value is 0. So here print my list, we are not given the start value and 5 it is the end value and we are not given the step value. So the step value is by default 1. Since we are not given the start value, the default value is taken as 0. So the values extracted will be from 0 to 4. So we will get the new list with values A, B, C, D and E. Because the end value specified here is 5. So we go up to 4. This is the result of this print statement. So if you are not giving the start value and end value, then the entire list will be retrieved. So print my list with just colon inside the square bracket will retrieve the entire list. We are not specifying the start value, end value and the step value. So by default, the entire list will be retrieved. So print my list colon. So we will get the entire list. We can also give negative value as a step. Here, the index will be decremented by 1. Start value here it is 5. So we start with the position 5. F will be retrieved. Then the step value is -1. So we decrement the index by 1. So the next value, it is E. So next 4 minus 1, 3. The value at 3 will be retrieved. Next it will be 3 minus 1, 2. The value at 2 will be retrieved. Next it will be 2 minus 1, 1. So this B will be retrieved. Next it will be 1 minus 1, 0. So the end value mentioned here, it is 0. So end value is not included, so A will not be returned. So the print mylist 5 colon 0 colon -1 will give the value F, E, D, C and B. So we can also use a mix of positive and negative indices. We have mentioned the start value as -1. So -1, it is the index of the last value. So here the index of H is -1. So we start with the last index, then 0. It is the starting value. And the step here it is -1. So we start with the end and go up to the beginning. Print mylist -1 colon 0 colon -1 will give us the value from H. H is at the value -1. Then -1. So we will get the index -2. So this is the next value. Then -3. Next value, like that we go up to 0. So here the end is not included. Here the end is not included. So we will get the value only up to B. The result of this will be H, G, F, E, D, C and B. So in this case, we have not given the start position and the end position, and the step is given as -1. Here, the whole list will be reversed. So when we print mylist colon colon -1, so we will get the entire list in reversed order. H, G, F, E, D, C, B, and A. The entire list is reversed. So next operation, it is del. Del statement is used to remove an element from the list. For example, del colors of 1 will remove the value green from the list. So green is at position 1. So after executing this statement, green will be removed from this list colors. And when we print the colors, it will return only red and blue. So green has been removed from the list. We can also delete a range of values from the list. For example, mylist 1 colon 4 will delete the values in the range starting with index value 1 to 3. 4 it is not included in the deletion. Hence, this operation will delete the values 2, 3 and 4. So these are the values with index 1, 2 and 3. So now when you print mylist, so we will get only the values 1 and 5 inside the list. We can delete the entire list by just specifying the list name after the del keyword. For example, here del colors will delete the entire list. After this operation, if you try to print the list, it will generate an error because there is no object with name colors in our system. Next, we will see how to traverse a list. Traversing a list means accessing each individual element of a list. We can traverse through a list either using for loop or while loop. Let us see how to traverse using for loop. Colors is a list with values red, green, blue and yellow. For val in colors, print val. When we execute this for statement, the variable colors will be replaced by the values in the list. The variable val will first take the value red and then execute the body. Hence, red will be printed. Next, it will take the value green and execute the body. Green will be printed. Next, val will take blue and blue will be printed. Then val will take yellow and yellow will be printed. There are no more items in the list. Hence, the for loop will exit. Here, we have used the for loop to iterate through the list directly. When we execute this, we will get the individual values in the list. We can also iterate through the list by referring to their index value using the range and len function. For I in range of len of colors, print colors of I. Len of colors will return the number of items in the list. So here colors has 4 items or the length of color is 4. So len of colors will be replaced by the value 4. The range of 4 function will return the list 0, 1, 2, 3. Hence the variable I will first take the value 0, then print colors of 0. Will return the value at position 0. Hence red will be printed. Next I will take 1 and print colors of 1 will print green. Next I will take 2, print colors of 2 will print blue. Next I will take 3, print colors of 3 will print yellow. There are no more items in this list, so the for loop will exit. Here we have traversed the list using the index value. This program will also return the same output as the previous one. We can also use while loop to traverse through the list. Using while loop, we access the list item using the index number. We start at index 0. Here I am taking I as the index variable and initialize with value 0. While I less than len of colors, print colors of I and then I equal to I plus 1. Len of colors return the length of the list or the number of items in the list. The index value should go up to length minus 1. The last index value is length minus 1. So that is why we have written I less than len of colors. So here this is equivalent to writing I less than 4 since there are 4 items in the list colors. I is initialized to 0, I less than 4, condition true. So print colors of 0 will print the value red. Then I equal to I plus 1. That means I now becomes 1, 1 less than 4, print colors of 1. Green will be printed. I equal to I plus 1. I becomes 2, I less than 4, condition true. Print colors of 2, blue will be printed. I equal to I plus 1. I becomes 3, 3 less than 4, condition true. Print colors of 3, yellow will be printed. I equal to I plus 1, I becomes 4, 4 less than 4, condition becomes false. So the while loop will exit. So here also we will get the same values red, green, blue and yellow. So using while loop we can access the values of the list using the index value. Let us discuss about the built-in functions that can be applied on list. Len returns the number of elements in the list or the length of the list. For example, assume that my list is equal to A, B, C, D. Len of my list will return the number of elements in this list. Here it is 4. So when we print len of my list, we will get the value 4. Min returns the minimum or the smallest element in the list. For example, assume my list is equal to 10, 2, 5 and 8. Min of my list will return the value 2. So when we print min of my list, 2 will be printed on the screen. Max returns the maximum or the largest element in the list. So here max of my list will return the value 10. So print max of my list will return 10 since 10 is the maximum in this group. Sum returns the sum of elements in the list. Here the sum of my list will return the value 25. Sorted returns a new list with elements of the given list in sorted order. For example, when we apply the function sorted on my list, so it will return a new list with values 2, 5, 8, 10. So here I have copied the returned list to a new variable new list. So when we print new list, we will get 2, 5, 8 and 10. Note that there is no change on my list. The my list has the value 10, 2, 5 and 8. Here the function sorted will return a new list in the sorted order. No change happens to the original list. List function returns an empty list if no argument is passed. For example, if we give my list is equal to list. So now here my list is created as an empty list. So when we print my list, you will get an empty list here. If argument is passed to list function, then it is converted to a list. For example, if we give my list is equal to list of, within the bracket here, I have given a string A, E, I, O, U. Now this string will be converted to list. So when we print my list, we will get a list with values A, E, I, O and U. Next, we will discuss about the methods of list object. Append. Append function is used to append an element to the end of the list. The syntax here is list dot append, within the bracket we specify the element. Here append, it is a method of the list object, so you have to use the dot operator here. And the element is a value of any type. It can be integer, string, list or any other object. Let us see an example. My list is given as 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to append value 4 to the end of the list. My list dot append, within the bracket I gave the value 4. Now when you print my list, we will get a list with values 1, 2, 3 and 4. The value 4 has been appended to the end of the original list. Insert function inserts an element at the specified position. The syntax here is list dot insert, within the bracket position comma element. Here this position is an integer specifying the position to insert the value, to which position we need to insert the value. Element is the value of any type that we need to insert into the list. For example, I give my list dot insert 1 comma 4. So this means that I want to insert value 4 at position 1. So after inserting, when you print my list, the list will be like this: 1, 4, 2, 3. 4 is inserted at position 1 and all other elements are pushed to the right. Extend function adds the element in the iterable to the end of the list. Syntax here it is list dot extend iterable. Iterable means it can be any iterable like another list, tuple, set, etc. Let us see an example. My list dot extend, within the bracket I specify another list 1, 4, 5. So when we execute the statement, this new list is added to the end of my list. So when we print my list after the extend operation, so you'll get a list like this: 1, 2, 3, comma 1, 4, 5. So this 1, 4, 5 is added to the end of my list. Count function returns the number of occurrence or specified value in the list. The syntax is list dot count, within the bracket value. So here value, it is of any type to be searched. Value is the element that need to be counted. For example, my list dot count 2. So this means that we want to count the number of occurrences of 2 in my list. So there are 2 occurrences of my list. Hence, when we print my list dot count of 2, we will get the answer 2 here, since 2 is mentioned twice in my list. Pop function removes an element from the specified position and returns the removed element. The syntax is list.pop position. Position specifies the index value from which the element is to be removed. For example, my list.pop 2. So here we want to remove the element from position 2. At position 2, the value is 3. So 3 will be removed and it is assigned to the variable value. So after the pop operation, if you print my list, the list will be 1, 2, 4. 3 is removed from the list. We have saved the removed value in the variable value. So when we print value, we will get 3 here because 3 is the element that we have removed. If no index is specified, the default value is -1. Hence, the last item in the list is removed. For example, if we give mylist.pop, we are not specifying any index value here. So the default index value is -1. -1, it is the index value of the last element. So the element removed will be 4 and it will be stored in the variable value. So when we print mylist after the pop operation, we will get 1, 2, 3. 4 is removed. And the removed element is 4 here. A remove function removes the first occurrence of the given element from the list. The syntax is list.remove element. So here element is the value to be removed from the list. For example, if you give mylist.remove2, so this means that remove the value 2 from my list. So after the remove operation, my list will be 1, 3 and 4 because 2 is removed from the list. Now, if the element occurs multiple times, only the first occurrence is removed. For example, in our list, there are 2 occurrences of the value 2. Hence, when we write mylist.remove2, it will remove only the first occurrence of 2. So this 2 will be removed and this 2 will remain in the list. So when we print mylist after removing 2, so we will get the value 1, 3, 4 and 2. So you can see here, only the first 2 has been removed. If the element is not present, value error is generated. For example, mylist.remove5. So there is no element with value 5 in my list. Hence, you will get an error here. Clear function removes all the elements from the list. The syntax is list.clear. For example, if I write mylist.clear, all the elements in the list will be removed and the list will become an empty list. So here, after the clear operation, when you print mylist, you will get an empty list here. Copy function returns a shallow copy of the given list. The syntax is list.copy. For example, if I write new list is equal to mylist.copy, a copy of my list is returned and it is assigned to new list. So when we print my list, you will get 1, 2, 3, 4 and the new list is also 1, 2, 3, 4. Index returns the position of the first occurrence of specified value in the list. The syntax is list.index within the bracket element. So here element is the value of which the index is required. For example, mylist.to. So there are 3 occurrences of 2 in my list, but mylist.index will return only the position of the first 2. So here the index value of the first 2 is 1. So 1 will be returned. Here the index of 2 is stored in the variable position and when we print position, you will get the value 1 here. A reverse function reverses the content of the list. The syntax is list.reverse. For example, mylist.reverse will give the list in the reversed order. Mylist.reverse will reverses the content of my list. So after the reverse operation, when you print my list, so you will get the list like this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The elements have been reversed. Sort function sort the elements of the given list in place. Syntax is list.source. There are 2 arguments, reverse and key. Reverse is equal to true or false. Key is a function. Reverse is equal to true. Sort the list in descending order. So when we give reverse is equal to true, the list will be sorted in descending order. The default value for reverse, it is false. Hence, by default, the sort function will sort the elements in ascending order. Key is a function to specify the sorting criteria. Both these arguments are optional. Let us see an example. So my list is given as 3, 2, 1, 4, 5. My list.sort So here we have not specified any argument. So by default, it will be sorted in ascending order. So when you print my list, you'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The list is sorted in ascending order. Let us see another example. MyList.sort. Here reverse is set as true. So that means we want to sort the list in descending order. So here you can see that after the sort operation, when you print my list, you'll get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That means the list is sorted in descending order. Let us see another example. We have a list colors with values red, green, and blue. Colors.sort. So here the list is sorted in ascending order. So when you print colors, you will get green, blue, and red. So here G is capital. So that is why it comes first, because capital letters are sorted first and then small letters. If you want to make this sorting case insensitive, then you have to give an additional sorting criteria. So here I have specified key is equal to str lower. So this means that change all the values to lowercase and then do the sorting. So now when we print colors, you can see here, case doesn't matter here. Whatever is the case, it is sorted in ascending order. Blue, green, and red. Here we have mentioned an additional sorting criteria. So this will also work if we give key is equal to str dot upper instead of lower. So then all letters will be considered as uppercase and sorting is performed. Now if you write mylist dot sort reverse is equal to true and key is str dot lower. In this case, the sorting will happen in descending order. You can see here red, green, and blue will be the result. Now, if you want to perform the sorting based on the length of the values, then we can specify key is equal to len. So we have passed the len function to the variable key. So when we print colors, I can see that red has got the smallest length, so red comes first. So next blue, this 4 letters, and green it has got 5 letters. Here the sorting happens based on the length of the values or based on the number of characters in the values. So this is because we have passed an additional sorting criteria here using the key function, key argument. Now let us see how to copy a list. Assume that list 1 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I write list 2 equal to list 1, here we have not creating a new list. Instead, we are pointing list 2 to the same object itself. So list 2 is another name for list 1. Both list 1 and list 2 points to the same object. Whatever changes we apply on one list, that will affect another list because both points to the same object. So here we have changed list 1 of 0 is equal to 10. So let us see the output here. So before this updation, both list 1 and list 2 are 1, 2, 3, 4. And after this updation, when we print list 1 and list 2, you can see that both the list has changed. List 1 is 10, 2, 3, 4 and list 2 also changed to 10, 2, 3, 4. So we have changed the list using the variable list 1. But list 2 also changed. This is because both are same list. Both point to the same object. Now, if you want to create a different object, we have to use a different method. The first method is we can copy one list to another list using a slice operator. So here if you write list 2 is equal to list 1, within the square bracket we just put colon. If you are not giving the start value and end value, by default it means the entire list. So now if you write list 2 equal to list 1, within the slice operator just colon, a new list is created with the same values as that of the first list. So now we have got two lists with same values. List 1 point to this object and list 2 point to another object. So here we have copied one list to another list. Now let us see what happens when the updation is applied on the first list. So we have written list of 0 equal to 10. So after insert, list 1 was changed to 10, 2, 3, 4. But list 2, no change has happened. List 2 is saying 1, 2, 3, 4. So before updation, list 2 is 1, 2, 3, 4, and after updation also, list 2 is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is because when we use a slice operator, when we copy a list using the slice operator, two different object is created in memory. Changes applied on one list does not affect the second list. Next method is using the list function. If you write list2 is equal to list of within the bracket, we give list1. So this means that list2 is created as another list with the values of list1. So now list2 is another object with the same values as that of list1. Here also you can see that after this insert, list1 change, but no change happens to list2. The third method is using the copy function. So list1.copy. So in this case also list2 is created as another object with same values as that of list1. So let us see the same program. After insert, list1 is 10, 2, 3, 4, but list2 remains the same as 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are the methods for copying one list to another list. Now let us see how the list can be used as a function argument. So here I have got a function with name square and it takes one argument, list2. What I'm doing is I'm squaring each element in the list. So for I in range len of list2. So len of list2 will return the length of list2. So here it takes the first element and the first element is squared and is copied to the same position. Next I become 1 and it takes the second element, it is squared and copied to the same position. Next it takes 2, the third element is squared and is copied to the same position. Likewise we go to the end of the list. So this function simply square the values in the list. Now I have taken list 1 as 1, 2, 3. I am passing this list 1 to the function and then printing list 1. So list 1, it is 1, 2, 3. When I call the function using list 1, we are not creating another object using list 2. Instead, the list 2 refers to the same object. So that means whatever changes happens on list 2 will affect list 1. So here we are passing list 1 to list 2. So that means list 2 also points to the same object. So when we execute this function, all these values will be squared. So when we print list 1, we will get the new list with the squared values 1, 4, 9. So actually changes happens to list 2, but it affects list 1 also because we're calling the function using the reference. So this concludes a short summary about the list objects in Python. Thank you.